This is Jennifer Pyack with A Crocheted Simplicity, and this video tutorial is going to show you how to work the braided cable stitch pattern as seen in my kick and cable slipper boots. I'm using a larger hook than it calls for in the pattern just so I can manipulate the stitches better. We're going to begin with a swatch of 2 rows of half double crochet, 26 stitches long. In this stitch pattern, all of your half double crochets are going to be worked into the current row, and all of your post stitches will be worked 2 rows below, so they'll be worked into that first row of your swatch. The first thing I'm going to do is work a half double crochet in the first 2 stitches just to move my cable pattern away from the edge so I can hold on to it. Now, the beginning of this stitch pattern, the first thing you do is skip the next 2 stitches. So we're working into that first row, so we're going to skip the first 4 half double crochets of that row. We're going to work a front post treble crochet around the next stitch, and another front post treble crochet around the next stitch. Now we're going to work a front post treble crochet around each of the 2 skipped stitches. And then we're going to work a front post double crochet around the next 2 stitches. And the last part of the repeat is to work half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Now you remember your half double crochet are worked in the current row, so we're going to bend it forward, count to make sure you've skipped 6 stitches, and then work your first half double crochet into that next stitch and another half double crochet into the next stitch. And that is 1 repeat for the first row of this stitch pattern. We're going to do that again. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, which you have to skip 4. You have to skip the 2 that are under the half double crochets, and then the next 2. Work a front post treble crochet around the next stitch and a front post treble crochet around the next stitch. Now, working in front of those 2 that you just made, we're going to work a front post treble crochet around the 2 skip stitches. Now that we've completed our first repeat, we're going to work another one. So the first thing we do is we need to skip the 2 half double crochets underneath our current ones, skip the next 2 stitches, work a front post treble crochet in the next stitch, and a front post treble crochet in the next stitch. Now we need to work a front post treble crochet in the 2 skip stitches. And then we work front post double crochet around the next stitch, and a front post double crochet around the next stitch. and then end it with 2 half double crochets around the next 2 stitches. So we tip it forward, count over 6, make sure we've skipped 6 stitches. And work our 2 half double crochets. And there we have 2 repeats of the first row of our cable stitch. I'm just going to work to the end and half double crochets and then turn. And we're going to work the next row. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to work a half double crochet in each stitch from the previous row. You're not going to work into the back loops, you're going to work into the top of your post stitches and all of your half double crochets across. Okay, so I've worked a half double crochet in each stitch across. This is the back side of your work. So I have 26 half double crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now for this row, we're going to be working our half double crochets into the current row again, but all of our post stitches will be worked around the post stitches from the row 2 previous rows before. So the first thing we're going to do is work a half double crochet in the first 2 stitches again to get us away from that edge. And let's identify our stitches. A couple of them are hidden. So if you look closely, there's 2 front post treble crochets peeking out underneath there. Okay, so I have stitch number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are our front post treble crochets from that previous round. And then we have our 2 front post double crochets. So the next part of the stitch pattern is to work a front post double crochet around the first 2 front post treble crochet. Okay, so we're going to work a front post double crochet around these 2 stitches that are hidden here. You have to manipulate and dig your hook in a little bit to find them, but they're there. It's much easier to work when it's attached to the cuff of a slipper. I have a little bit more to hold on to. Okay, so we worked a front post double crochet around the first 2 front post treble crochets. The next thing we need to do is work front post treble crochet around the front post double crochets. So we're going to skip stitches number 3 and 4, the 2 front post treble crochets, and we're going to work a front post treble around each of the front post double crochets. I apologize for having to turn my work sideways to see. Like I said, it's hard to hold on to a small swatch like this and work cables. Okay. Now the next thing is we need to work a front post treble crochet around these 2 skipped front post treble crochets. But these ones we're going to be working behind. So we need to bend these forward, okay, and grab the front post treble crochets from inside here or behind these 2 trebles that were just worked. This can get a little tricky and you sometimes feel like a contortionist trying to find the stitches, but they're there. And they might look sloppy for a second, but you can straighten them right out. Here's one, and here's the other. There. So now we've worked our front post double crochets, 2 front post trebles, and then working behind we've worked 2 more front post treble crochets. Now we need to work our next 2 half double crochets, so flip your work up so you can count and make sure you skip 6 stitches and work a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that's it. That's another stitch pattern repeat for this next row. We're going to do it one more time. So the first thing we do is work a front post double crochet around the first 2 front post treble crochet. Okay. Now we skip the next 2 front post treble crochet and we work a front post treble crochet around the next 2 front post double crochet. And while the front post and double and treble can get confusing with all the post stitches, but as long as you think about which stitches you're working into, which stitches you're working, it actually becomes a really easy stitch pattern once you get the first couple rounds down. Okay, so we've worked our front post double crochets, skipped 2 front post treble crochets. Now we're going to bend our work forward and work around those front post trebles underneath there. Okay, we're going to bend our work forward, skip 6 stitches, and work a half double crochet in the next 2. Here we have it, and we have 2 stitch repeats. I know they don't look like much now, but after a couple more rows they start forming the braided look and they look pretty cool. I am going to finish up this row, turn, work a half double crochet in each stitch across, and be back.